here we are then, folks. We're at Pidcocks Motorcycles and we are going for a ride on this little beauty, the Zero SR. So I've just been shown around this little monster by James. Thanks, James. If you're interested in this model and you live in Nottingham or surrounding district, Derby, anywhere like that, come and have a chat with James. Oh, and he'll get you out on a test ride. So he's given me advanced warning. Don't know whether you can see me. So he's given me advanced warning that this can be a little bit bitey. So we're switched on. We should just twist that throttle and off we go. And we're away. Wow, it's weird. No noise. So first time on an electric bike. It's not high at all. It's quite low. I'm not sure what the saddle height is. So literally this ride is just a bit of a look-see and a first time out on an electric bike. I'm going to ride this one and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to go out on the SRS, which is the fared version of the SRF that you've probably all seen. The SRS is just a fared version of that, more of a touring machine. This feels amazing, actually. It's a really odd sensation to be on a bike that just makes no noise, really. A bit of an electric motor whine, and you can instantly tell that, you know, if you were commuting, it'd be superb. It'd be absolutely fantastic. So we're going to have a bit of a trundle. We'll see how it fares in its different rider modes. At the moment we're in Eco. So I'm just sort of getting used to it. So I'm literally just straight out of Pidcocks and on the road. So I'm not going to do anything, well, I'm not going to do anything stupid anyway, hopefully. But we'll just see how it goes. So all I've got, noise-wise, is just wind noise around my helmet. It feels super smooth. The suspension's really nice, actually. At this sort of speed, it feels not overly firm. It feels like the sort of suspension that would cope with lots of different riding conditions, especially the way the roads are at the moment. You need something that's not going to shake your guts out and shatter your teeth. Oh, what's going on here then? Oh, let's see how closed it is, shall we? As we know with road closures, there's closed and there's closed. It's a very basic model, so we'll go through some of the controls on this in a wee while. But it feels like a very balanced bike. I'm a little bit cantered forwards, so it's not overly sporty. So it is very closed then, this road. Oh, that's a bit of a bugger. Let's wind her on a bit. So this is the equivalent to about a 600cc, oh look at that, that's nice. This is the equivalent to about a 600cc road bike, BHP wise. It feels really good. It's a lot of fun already. It just feels like a lot of fun. Oh, we're there, okay. Let's see, so it's dead basic. You flick this switch. So this is off at the moment. Flick that switch. That's on. A little green light comes on to say that we're on. So that's hazards. So this is lights, dip beam, main beam, and then flash, indicators, horn. Dead basic. Nothing more to it than that. No traction control on this bike. So let's go. And then you just wind the throttle on and away you go. I could see it being a bit of a problem with pedestrians not being able to hear you coming. It feels really good. There's gravel everywhere. No traction control. Oh, bugger. Let's get out of the way. It's dead light as well. It is really light. It weighs next to nothing. Especially when you're coming off a quarter-ton behemoth like the Africa Twin. Try and get it out of the ditch again. So the battery's got 92% in it at the moment. I'm not sure what it was when we first started off because, like an idiot, I didn't look. But anyway, we're 92% at the moment. I'll keep you informed as to how much that declines as we're going along. I know one thing, the steering lock on this is really not very good. But you know, for such a small light bike, it's not like it's a difficult problem to move it around. So the blue line is, oh God, look at the amount of dumping that goes on down this road. It's amazing, the amount of fly tipping that's going on at the moment. What is wrong with people? More, oh Jesus. It's like an open tip down here. Great little bike, I'm loving this. So brakes, let's do a test of the brakes and see how they go. So we'll just go around this bend and onto a straight bit. So back brake. That's really not bad. Front brake, oh, Jesus, yeah, front brake is excellent. And just in eco mode, it goes really well. It does go really well. I wonder how much one of these is. I tell you what, I would love something like this for a commuting bike. Press the mode button again. So that's custom. Let's put her in sport. We've gone down to 91% now. So, sport mode. Oh my God! Jesus! Why would you not want one of these? Oh my God! Oh Jesus! Is this the most fun bike I've ever ridden? I don't know, it's the quietest, definitely. This is amazing. Now, I know most people, I mean, they're electric negative, aren't they, a lot of people. However, there was a bike shore, which way we're going, that way. There was a bike shore survey done to find out, to try and gauge how interested people were in electric bikes and whether they would consider an electric bike. And surprisingly, 50.3% of the sample group, I'll put the number up of how many people were in that sample group because I can't remember. 50.3% of that sample group said that they would consider it or already have considered it and they've already made the switch, which is a significant amount considering when you speak to people, they're saying that, you know, they wouldn't have electric. They're not interested in electric. And I think there's a lot of people out there who are telling porkies. They're in the closet. I don't know which way this bloke's going. He's going that way, even though he was in the straight on or left turn lane. Wow, just a super duper little bike. I could definitely see myself commuting on one of these. So it's got little indicators there telling you what your output is. Regen, yeah, it's regenning now, I can see that. So it is constantly trying to put power back into the battery as well. If you were to use this on a daily basis, I think range-wise, you're talking about probably 100, you know, mixed riding. You're probably, from what I've read, you're talking about You're talking about 100 miles, 120 miles in the city, 120 perhaps, because of the amount of regen you're going to get, braking for traffic lights, that sort of thing. It's so easy to ride. It is so easy to ride this bike. There's no gears on it, so it's just twist and go, quite literally, twist and go. Exactly the same as the Africa Twin, only hell of a lot quieter and cheaper to run. I'll tell you what, in the next few years, I think we're going to see a hell of a lot more of this type of bike out on the road. It's a super interesting little bike, actually. The conversations that I'd had with James building up to this ride today, I thought I was going to be riding the SRS, which is the fared version, but he was very keen to put me on this bike first as an introduction to electric bikes, and I can see why he did that. When the prices come down on this sort of bike, I would definitely think about buying one of these, for commuting especially. But this is a very back to basics motorcycle, but it feels very good at what it does. The ride is very stable, it feels like it's well put together. The brakes are superb. The handling is great. The pickup, oh Jesus Christ, the pickup and acceleration is so quick, man, it's quick. So there it is, it's a little dynamite machine. So just flicker off. Now that sounds wrong, doesn't it? So here it is then, so this is the Zero SR. So this is like the base model of the Zero range, and it is a basic model as well. Hope you can hear me all right, because it's quite breezy, so I put a lavalier mic on, so I'm not sure whether you're going to pick this up okay. But yeah, it's a basic model, but I tell you what, this is a lot of fun. It looks like a 125, but actually it's got a lot more poke. It is probably the equivalent of about a 600, something like that. It will go to crazy speeds quite quickly. You do have to be quite careful when you wind the throttle on. So suspension, we've got Showa upside down forks on the front, and they are adjustable. So even though it's a basic model, it still comes with something like adjustable forks. And rear suspension, that's adjustable as well. Look. I'm wondering whether that's Showa as well. Yeah, that is as well. Yeah, and the suspension does feel pretty good actually. It's belt drive, so you've got no chain maintenance issues on there. There's no centre stand, but it's such a small light bike, without having to worry about the chain, there's no real need for a centre stand on it. Brakes, they are these JJ Juan. That looks like a 2-pot caliper on the front. The brakes are fantastic, they're really good. They're proper stoppers. Pedal disc, get my finger out of the way. Pedal disc, front and rear. Ideal commuter bike, and an ideal as well. This would be an ideal first bike for someone who's newly passed their test, who wants to move up to something bigger than a 125, bigger than a 400. This would be an ideal starter bike, to be honest. It is quick, 5-year guarantee, unlimited miles, 5-year battery warranty. So like I say, these controls, a bit basic, but just what you need, especially if you're using this as a commuter. So indicators, horn, hazards, and then your normal beam, main beam, and then your flash at the front. 2 clicks of the key. So that red light flashing there means that it's stopped. So when you look on this side, you've got your mode button and then you've got your start stop button. So in that position with the rocker down at the top, it's in the stop position. Press that, and if you twisted the throttle now, it would just take off. So on there you've got, what have you got? Let's give it a bit of a wipe. Dirty boy, James. So you've got your clock, you've got your battery percentage, miles per hour, 71 miles. Is that all it's done? 71 miles? Can't be right. And then you've got your output. So when you're riding, you see this, you see these little blocks come up here telling you that you're in output. And then when you're braking, like I was going around that traffic island earlier, you see the little blocks come up here to say that it's giving the battery a bit of power back. So we're in sport mode at the moment. Not sure whether you can change it as we are. Let's have a look. So we're in sport, yeah, eco, and then the custom model. So they're the three modes that you've got on this bike. You don't really need any more. On a bike of this size, for what you want to use it for, I would always leave it in that, to be honest. What a cracking little motorbike. No, not motorbike, electric bike. What a cracking little electric bike. So today is all about making Greta happy. So hopefully, Greta, this will cheer you up. Not that you're not cheery. I do respect Greta Thunberg. I'm not joking when I say that. I have a lot of respect for that girl. Fighting for her cohort, if you like. Look at that. That'd make a good photo, actually. So a bit of back lane riding then. It just performs very, very well. Feels very stable. The steering's nice. It's not overly light. There is a little bit of you know, like when you're riding a big petrol bike like mine, like the Africa Twin, they feel really heavy when you're sitting there, but then once you're under motion, they just become nice and light, don't they, on the steering? There is I suppose you'd call it a little bit of stiffness in this steering on this bike, but it just makes it feel more probably more sporty in a way. So it's quick, it's a very quick little bike, it's very comfortable. So the pegs are relatively low, you're not all tucked up, they're just in a neutral position. Same with your arms. Seat's quite comfy enough anyway. Wow, does it go? Lovely day to be out on the bike as well today, actually. But I would say that this bike on a, mixed commuting is where this bike is going to shine. So range, 60.2 miles I've got left on the range. It's just unusual, when you pull off and there's no sound other than that little electric motor whine. Just silent. Your neighbours will love you. It's gone up to 60.8 now. Just trundling around here. 60.9. We're actually putting miles in the tank. 61. That's weird, isn't it? 61.4. How unusual. And then in a 30 zone like this, turn the throttle down and then wind it up a bit again. There's no jerkiness, you don't have those fueling issues like you'd have on a petrol bike. You can just ease it off, ease it back on again, and it's just smooth as silk. Smooth as silk. Hang on, I'm going to go and speak to that chap there. I'm going to gauge his thoughts on an electric bike. Morning, you alright? I saw you looking at it. It's an electric bike. It's silent, isn't it? What do you think to it? Do you think this is the future?
Absolutely.
It could be. Well, in 10 years, they're not going to be making any more petrol engines, are they? So it's a very interesting bike to ride. I've just got it on test today, so we'll give.
What miles can you get out of it?
It's got 76% left in the battery, and that says it's got 61 miles left in it.
A 4-quadrant drive.
Hey, is that it? Do you understand electric? Do you? I haven't got a clue. So.
I work for Brush.
Oh right, did you? Yeah, I think.
It's the future, isn't it?
I think you're right. I think you're right. It could be the future.
So where's the motor?
This is all battery. This bit here, and then the motor. Can you see here? Look, it's just down here.
So if you keep the volts below 50,
yeah,
you get away with murder electrically.
Right.
If you go above 50, you start to get up a gear.
Right. Okay.
Start insulating to a lot higher,
Yeah.
like for 240 volts and all.
Right. Okay. So this is probably the equivalent of a 600cc petrol motorbike, and it goes like a rocket as well. It really does go like stink. Yeah. Because sorry.
What speed?
You could get illegal speeds out of it quite quickly. Yeah, and they produce such a lot of torque, so acceleration, it'll go very quick, very fast. Yeah.
The most I got was a 50cc.
Was it? That's where I started. Oh, lovely. Thanks ever so much for your views on it.
4-quadrant drive there because it generates.
Does it? Okay.
It generates back in.
I'm glad you know. Cheers, thank you. Oh, what a lovely couple. So as I was riding along, I saw him looking at the bike as I was riding past, and I've had that a couple of times this morning, people looking to see what it is because it's not making any noise. And I think for members of the public to see something like this zooming along at speed and not making any noise, it is quite confusing. So that gentleman used to work for a company called Brush, which is in Loughborough, who make, they used to make electronics for all sorts of things. And he's obviously got a very good depth of knowledge when it comes to electrical engineering. I do really genuinely enjoy riding this bike. And it's like I say, especially for people who are newly passed their test. This would be ideal for someone who's just passed their test. They want to get on something with a bit more poke. I don't think this would be too powerful or too quick. Well, it would. I'll amend that. Actually, it would definitely be too quick. You would need a period of getting used to it, because compared to a 125, this is in sort of, let me think what sort of category you'd put it in. Put it into sort of 800-900cc road bike acceleration category quite easily. It's a quick little bike, and that's just on my observation this morning. I've been taking it quite steady, so I've not been going mental with it, just on what I've observed from this little bike this morning. So there's very little engine braking, and I'm presuming because most of that goes into regen. When I was talking to that couple there, it was on 61 miles. We're now at 63.8. So that just shows how efficient this little engine is, doesn't it? I'm loving this. So there's no cruise control on this, no heated grips. Like I said, it is a very basic bike. It's got an old-fashioned LCD dashboard, but really, you don't need anything else. If this was your next bike from passing your test, don't need all that fancy shit. So Apple CarPlay on my Africa Twin, I don't even bother with it because it's such a ball ache to get it working. Don't even bother. I'm pretty certain I'm not allowed to be on here. Ah, yeah, that's the bit. Yeah, it's this way. If I can get one of the press bikes and have that for a few days, then what I will do is just do a full-on test with it. So I'll do some nighttime riding, I'll do daytime riding. If it rains, I'll take it out in the rain. Don't do that. And what it's like to live with, basically. Pros and cons, what it's like to charge up, how difficult it is to find charging stations, how difficult it is to plan, say, a longer run out. So what I'll do as well, I'll go on a run where I know I'm going to run out of power. We'll have to find a charging station and we'll have to charge it up. So we'll do that as well. And I might do a couple of routes like that. So it's a proper real world test on that bike. Whichever one it is that they allow me to have. I wouldn't say I was a skeptic because I've seen reviews of other people riding electric bikes and they've said how good they are and how practical for day-to-day use they think they are. I think this bike ideally would find its way for, well, for me it would be ideal for commuting. I can't see me stopping for a couple of hours to recharge it on the sort of routes that I do. I wouldn't. That would just annoy the crap out of me, to be honest. But no, this bike would find its way ideally as a commuter for me. But I've loved it. I've really enjoyed this little bomb about on this little beastie. So that's the next one that I'm going to be trying, the Zero SRS. There we go.